Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany. Welcome to my quilting life. It's Sunday. So Sunday, where you will sew with me today.
On a Sunday?
Because it's Sunday. We always sew on Sunday. Sunday is the day to sew. So on Sunday. So Sunday. I know, right? I'm so silly. All right. We're going to continue on with what we did last week. But let me get to the comments. Oh, wow. There's a lot in here. We got Kim, Alice, Christy, Tina, Cat Lady Who Sews, James, Karen, Ann, Trula, and many more. You guys have been talking in here for a while. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining today. So we're working on the Stargazer. Let's put this in the wonderful stand that I can see from far away. Darn these eyes. We're working on this little postcard quilt pattern. If you type in explanation pattern, while it's on live only, the links do not work after the live is over. I probably should start reminding you of that for those that are watching this at a later time. But if you're watching this live right now, this very time, 5 p.m., then, or 5 p.m. my time, then explanation pattern will get you a link. You can either download it for a price or buy the actual card if you want the paper card for a price. And I keep these cards up with my patterns. This is the same thing. So Stargazer running dough quilts for Via Rosa Designs. That's what it is. So as you can see on the wall, all we have to do is start putting it together. And I'm ahead of myself. I'm going to put a border around it and finish off those 3 stars that are empty on the outer side, because I had 2 squares of black left that I didn't use. And I have this blue with rainbow color fabric that goes with every single color in here. It has all the shades. So why not use it as the border? So I'm going to do that after the fact when I finish putting it together, because I don't know the distance between here and there yet and all that stuff. But I want to show you before I get started. All the scraps from this I already cut down into usable sizes and then made something, because I was on it last week after the live stream. The next morning I came in here and says, I got to get this stuff cleaned up so that I can work on other things. So I actually made a little scrap quilt. I didn't finish it. Obviously, it's not quilted yet because I didn't get that far. But I want you to see that scraps that are left over can be turned into anything.
Oh, that is cool.
So this has big and small pinwheels in it, as well as I cut down the smaller scraps into squares and made 4 patches. So it's essentially 16 patches and 4 patches of different sizes.
That is way cool.
So that's what I was able to get. The bigger pinwheels are the leftovers from cutting off these right here. And then the littler pinwheels that are on here for cutting off the leftovers backside of these. So I was able to get this. So once I get that quilted, it's either a wall hanging or I could put a black border around it and make it a baby quilt or whatever. For now, it's just a little thing that came out 30 inches by 36 inches. So see, saving your scraps, you can make other things with it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stand now and start sewing because I don't feel like sitting. All right. I'm literally going to take, you guys can't see way up there, but I'll show you from this row. I'm going to sew together one right after the other in the whole entire row, and then they're going to get pressed opposite. So for this and this, I'm going to press towards the big square, towards the big square, press towards the big square so that everything's opposite. And then on this row, with the smaller pieces and the rectangles, I'm going to press towards the smaller pieces. That way, this will be towards this, and this will be towards that, and they'll be opposite directions. I don't know what the pattern says to do because I'm not even looking at it at this point. There's no sense. It's already on the wall and ready to be sewn. So that's all I'm going to do. Sew together the rows, and that's it. Sew the rows together and becomes a usable quilt top. Quilt top at that point. I'm not moving anything around, just leaving it all where it is. There's no sense in moving anything at this point. That would be getting too picky with it, you know? And I don't want to be too picky with this quilt. I just want to get it done. So that way we can start on something else next week. So that's all I'm going to do. Sew this. You guys can ask questions. We can chit chat, you know. I'm an open book. I have lots of things I could tell you. Huh? Yep. I know lots of stuff. I've learned lots of stuff. I know lots of stuff. And it doesn't even have to be quilting related. Because I'm crazy. I know it all. Just kidding. And yes, I do prefer to sew standing up nowadays. But now I just need to get myself an adjustable desk. And just switch out. But I got to find one that's as big as this desk or close to this size, because I definitely want a big desk. I can't seem to think of why I would want to downsize to a smaller desk, you know? But I want one of those ones that I can press the button and it goes zoop, and I push the button and it goes zoop. All right. Oh, iron. Can you turn the iron on?
Yep.
I'm just going to lay this right where it goes. You're pressing towards the little guys. I'm going to show him real quick. Press towards this, press towards this, press towards this, press towards this. You're pressing towards the little pieces. That way it's opposite. Okay. I'll just press it then. He's got this look on his face like,
What do you mean
what?
the little pieces? They're all...
These are little squares, these are rectangles. We're pressing towards the squares.
Okay.
But that's okay. I will get started on row 2.
I have no idea what you were saying.
He's lost.
None of them are little.
He's lost like a little kitten. It's like, which way do I go, George? I think this is going to be very, very pretty when it's done.
Of course it is.
You know, I hate to admit it, but back in time ago, I used to just keep my fabric all willy-nilly in the drawers, you know? I don't know if you guys remember, but you probably do. And I used to just put all fat quarters in one area, all this in one area, and I never had it organized. And then there was that day I had that aha moment, you know? And I organized everything in color order, even my fat quarter drawer. So it made it so much easier to choose fabric for this quilt because the drawers are in color order, you know? I hate to admit it, but I like having things in color order now. I didn't before. Before I saw what I was looking for in a mess. Now it's in color order and I still see what I thought I never saw in the first place. In the colorfulness. Weird. Makes no sense, but guess what? That's the way it is. Oh. This is good exercise, and I'm on an exercise kick. gotta let my body start feeling normal, because so far my muscles in my chest are still swollen. They still hurt, and it's driving me bonkers. Like, for real. All right, I'm gonna go press the previous row and then this row. And I'm just gonna put the rows back up on the wall. Technically, I can sew these 2 rows together. You know what, that's what I'll do. And then put them up on the wall.
You want me to put it up on the wall?
No, I got it. Wait till the rows are sewn together.
Okay.
I'll make it easy on myself and sew 2 rows at a time together. Those there. This is like the perfect size for my ironing board too. 1 row fits it directly across my ironing board.
Watch your open gate quilts.
Hopefully you guys all got a chance to watch my open gate quilts from 2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago, yeah. I posted it on a Friday evening, which I normally wouldn't do, but I wanted to see how evening videos goes as opposed to morning videos coming on at 6 a.m. And you know what? There was no difference. Not one difference of posting at night versus in the morning. Which is funny, right? Like, you guys just watch them at your leisure anyway, so what did it really even matter what time I put the video on? Get it all? Okay. With every stitch, I quilted an actual piece of me. My hair. Figured I'd give my scalp a break from wearing ponytails. So I've had it down the last 2 days. And all it does is get in my face. I'm just going to press this up towards the little piece. And then
Yeah, I can do that.
have Scott put it up on the wall. Or help me at least do it, because it's going to fall as he does it. It's just the way it works. Yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll piece it all together in sections of 2.
Okay, am I putting it up there?
Yeah.
Let me get an end. Run away. Right?
Yep.
Right there?
Yep. All right, I can stay just like that. Next.
That looks pretty. Why is there water all over? Did you spill water out?
The water came out of the iron as I was ironing.
Out of the top?
Yep, it does.
Did you hit the button?
Nope, didn't hit no button.
That's weird.
Yeah, did it all day yesterday too. Now that I got a little bit healed, I was able to get some quilting done more than I did before. And that wasn't a big deal, as opposed to the one thing that 100% wore me out, made me tired, and I had to walk away, was binding the quilt. again, that yanking and tugging, and that's why the doctor said don't do it. That yanking and tugging of holding a quilt like this consistently irritated my muscles, and whew. So I have another quilt left to bind, but it's just going to stay back there for now behind the camera. I'm going to wait at least another couple days till I heal up from my torture of binding. I guess I can't do 3 quilts in a day like I used to. Actually, I used to be able to bind like 6 quilts in a day, but I haven't even made quilts to make 6 quilts a day. I would empty my closet out finally if I did that. I probably should. Quilt everything up in that closet. That way I can quilt each project after I make it on live stream. I mean, those are goals right there.
Yeah.
To finally be able to do that, whew, that would be amazing.
And you need a whole other room though for all those quilts.
The funny thing is in 2024, I didn't do it in 2023, but in 2024 I said, this is the year I'll get all the quilts in the closet quilted, you know? Then 2025 came and I had like 30 more quilt tops on top of the ones that were left from previous. I'm like, seriously? This is a never-ending thing in here. So then by 2026 came around, I told myself at the beginning of this year, I said, I'm going to quilt all those quilts in the closet. And what have I not done? It's July, and I should have quilted all those quilts.
Where are you going to put them all then?
I don't know where we'll put them, but
You need a whole other room.
I need another room just for the quilts. And just remember, there's always quilts for sale.
Yeah,
Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell the family that you don't feel like making a quilt and to come onto my website if they want to buy one. My website, my Etsy thing. We all have that friend who wants you to make everything. We'll tell them, you don't feel like it. Just go buy a quilt from this person. Like, I don't got no time. But Tiffany has quilts for sale. You guys are my word of mouth, or else, well, I get no traffic to my for sale stuff. I'm loving this thing. It's so pretty. Such vibrant colors. Some black stars, you know, because I like using black with bright colors. Earlier today, I spent time on the computer designing a new quilt pattern, but now I got to do all the math to it and then test it, or just make the video while I test at the same time. I've done that plenty of times, and then I have to go back and edit out the areas where I say, oh, it's 2.5 inches when it was actually 3.5 inches, so I have to voice over, you know. I kind of like making it first, so that way I have that firsthand knowledge of what it takes and if it works. But I did design something new and fun. Now I just gotta make it. That's on top of like the other 10 things I've designed. I just haven't made yet. I did the one for 4th of July because that one was like top priority. Although I did want to do it in other colorways, I was like, you know what? Let's just do this in red, white, and blue and call it a Quilt of Valor. All right. I'm going to go ahead and press this, put this one over here. No, that's the way I want you, Mr. Seam.
Goodness, you're gonna be done in another 10 minutes.
No, I won't. It's going to take a while.
Look at you, you're speeding it all up.
I'm not speeding at all. I'm going the speed limit. Leave me be.
Going the speed limit.
Making a quilt doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour today. It can be 90. Although, where is there a 100-mile-an-hour speed limit? I don't know. I guess nowhere. We all go it, though. That speed gets away from us.
Your hair's getting so long, you planning to donate it when you get it cut next time?
My hair is getting so long. Am I ready to donate it next time I cut it? Not yet. My hair is falling out more than it's growing lately. And I'm pretty sure it's because the surgery kind of screwed with all my everything in my body. You know, the healing, being put to sleep, blah, blah, blah. It stressed it out. The goal. Hair is, let's see, where's my hair? Right here. Small of my back. There's my butt. So that many more inches to my butt. And I want it to go at least below my butt. So probably another, I'd say that's like 20 inches. And that way it could be folded in half and get a good size wig out of it, hopefully. It'd probably have to be mixed with other people's hair because my hair is thin. So thin. I have the thinnest hair of everyone in my family. But I've always had thin hair. So I need twice the amount for it to be anything. Look at that. I haven't lost my star points yet. Oh, that's doing so good. See, it spilt water again.
Yeah.
It's just spilling water while I iron.
It's coming from right?
I think it's coming from the top.
Yeah, it's coming from up here.
Out the spout area where you fill it.
It's weird.
It is weird. But irons don't last forever for us, so I don't know.
We go through them.
Still works. It still seams. It's just making a water mess. That's all.
They don't seem to make them nowadays to be used daily.
Yeah, they're not.
They expect
They're not.
people just to use it like once a month.
They expect people to use them once a year. What are you talking about? Like, oh, he's not going to a wedding, but maybe once a year, you know, to his friends. That's when he needs to iron his suit.
Yeah,
You know, you don't need an iron for anything else. The normal average person that they try to sell them for is not quilters. Maybe a quilter should design an iron for quilters. something that has all the bells and whistles. Steam function, no steam function. The no steam function works as good as the steam function. I mean, can use sink water. Just all the things. A timer to turn it, that it turns off so it doesn't stay on. But if it's still plugged in, that it'll heat up instantly, that kind of iron. And even if it's a steam iron, it still needs the button for extra steam, like forced steam. And then a button for water to come out, all the things. But I'm not an iron designer. Ooh, it can even be retractable. So if you're working with small pieces, you can make the iron smaller. And if it's big pieces, you can pull out this thing that pops down and makes a bigger iron plate. Oh, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? See, I get wheels turning. Again, I'm not a designer, though. But that would be cool. The things Tiffany talks about on her live streams. All right, press this one. Leave it here on the table. Not table, ironing board. Whew.
You know what you meant.
But we know, yes. Set it right out there. After this, I feel like making a quilt with all flower fabric.
Okay.
So whatever I choose next, we're going to choose all flower
Okay.
fat quarters for.
I don't have an issue with that.
But they have to match. They can't look dumb together. So
I ain't buying it. So
we
I don't
can't
have an
put
issue
pretty
with it.
purple with ugly poop brown. No mixing that. But if we're going to do the poop browns, we might as well choose all the poop browns. And maybe all the puke greens, because those will go together. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a project that I can do next week that consists of all floral fabrics.
I have no idea. Is Maxine still growing her hair?
Is Maxine still growing her hair? Maxine just got a haircut because of dead ends from dyeing her hair. You want to know how I know? Because I cut it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I just cut it shoulder length for her.
That's right.
It was
there.
longer, but I
too.
made it all shoulder length.
That's
And
pretty-
she has to cut underneath because she has really thick hair. So she cuts underneath so that it's not as thick and it's easier in the summertime to deal with. I wouldn't be able to do that. I have really thin hair. But yeah, I just cut her hair like last week, I think. And Gabby was growing her hair to donate, but I think the last time I saw her, she had just cut hers again too. I think I'm the only one that's stuck with it. I've trimmed mine, but I have not cut it. And I don't plan to cut it till it's a certain length. And then it'll get donated.
Alexa donated hers, right?
Alexa already donated hers,
Yeah,
though.
she
She's
did
the
hers.
only one that grew it to 12 inches and then chopped it off. Well, she grew it a little bit longer than 12 inches, just so that there was, you know, a little bit of length, not cutting it exactly. This on top of that. Whoop! It's trying to fly away.
You're not letting me help you put them up there anymore. You're not letting me help.
I'm not letting you help?
No.
Are you complaining?
Yes.
Are you being a complainer husband?
Yes. You're not letting me help. You're supposed to let me put them on the wall or something.
He wants to help. We should get a sewing machine out and make him help that way. He won't, though. He won't.
You do it. You don't even let me help.
He'd have to learn on the Pinto anyway, though, because the Juki might be too much for him. I remember when he used the serger, as soon as he stepped on the pedal, he was like, whoa!
Yes, right. I used the serger.
Yeah.
We did a t-shirt.
He's used the embroidery machine a lot. Of all the machines, he's used the embroidery. And that's because he's the one that hits the buttons. Because I can't be two places at the same time, because the embroidery machine isn't in this room.
Okay. Tell him who came to visit.
Oh, somebody has come in to visit. He's going to bring
Tell
him
him
over
about
for you, Mr. Thump.
Tell him.
Who's been? It's his birthday this month. 14 years old on the 28th.
2 weeks.
And he
Big boy's gonna be 14 years old.
he got a new toy that somebody bought him. But he only plays with it in my room. Then we found some of his balls. He has little toy, like, the kind that you take outside in the pool. They fill with water and then they get heavy enough to throw them.
Balls.
Little squish balls. He had a ton of them. They disappeared under the couch, under the hutch, under this, under that. They disappeared. Well, we found them all, washed them all, and gave them back, and he only plays with one. He had 3 of them. He plays with the one that's in his bean bag. He doesn't play with the one that's in my bedroom or just randomly on the floor out there. He is so weird. Just like his new toy, only playing with it in my room.
Yes, Daddy has to play with him with the ball in the beanbag. Daddy's job is to throw it back in the beanbag when he knocks it out.
Yep.
Which is like every
Yep.
second.
Scott throws the ball back into the beanbag constantly. That's all he does. It's cute to watch him play, though. All right, 2 more sets to make these rows. All right, now is, yeah, I'll just squat to get them.
Do you want me to get down and get them?
Nope. I could reach. The further, I'll just sit in my chair. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, okay, good. I thought I turned that around. Any questions? I feel like I went silent.
Well, you told him about Thumper's birthday. I don't know what else to tell him.
What else to talk about? What else to talk about? What did I do this week? Let's see. Let's talk about this week. I worked. What did I do this week other than working? Watched movies with Scott. You know, the typical average every single week, do the same exact thing over and over and over again.
We worked a lot this week, though. We didn't watch too much.
Yeah, we didn't watch too much this week. We just watched Hellboy last night. The newer one from like 2019. Is that how much newer it is?
It's not that new.
With the guy that plays
Hopper.
in Stranger Things. That version. I don't even remember what we watched the day before. I have been watching Heartland, though, Canada's longest running daytime drama.
And you're addicted, aren't you?
And I'm addicted to it. I love horses. I love farms. I love farming. But I don't do any of that. I just wish I could. I wish that I could live. Me and Scott talk about it all the time, about living out in the middle of Nowheresville with a bunch of acreage, so we have no neighbors, not even close to us, within spitting distance of anything. You know, we talk about it all the time.
We talk about moving to Yucca.
Yep, we talk about moving to Yucca. If you want to look up Yucca, Arizona, that's where we talk about moving to, because you can get like, well, I don't know about now, but when we used to talk about it all the time, you could probably get, what was it, like 100 acres for like $30,000. Like now you can't, but back when we used to talk about it all the time. Just have ourselves a nice house built out there. And, you know, now that I'm a quilter, it would be nice to have a big giant quilting studio, and it'd probably be cheaper because it's way out in the middle of Nowheresville.
Oh, tell him Thumper got a bath this week.
Oh yeah, Thumper got a bath
shampoo
this week with new Thumper shampoo, and well, I haven't noticed him licking any less.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
But Scott did notice his what is the word for it? His Tootsie Rolls are normal sized. He usually looks like he has constipation, and since he's got the soap,
no
difference.
Changed. No, why are you bringing that up? No, that's because he had goop today.
Oh, he had his goop today,
Yeah,
which is
that
like
happens every time he has goop.
Like what's the word for it?
Laxative.
Laxative.
Thanks, Marilyn.
Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you. Oh yes, very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have Scott buy me some Gatorade with that. Me and my Gatorade. Ever since my surgery, I've been on a Gatorade kick.
You and your Gatorade.
Healthy electrolytes. I mean, who can go wrong? Plus, it has flavor. Instead of plain old water all the time.
What are the best blades to use with their Martelli rotary cutter?
What are the best blades to use with the Martelli rotary cutter? Any blades you want. You can use the Martelli brand blades. You can use Fiskars blades. You can use Olfa blades. You can use generic blades. Just make sure that the hole that's in the middle is the proper shape hole, because some blades, I don't have any, but some blades are not created equal. Also, there's a blade in here that I have yet to try, and I probably should put it in one of my rotary cutters. Where did it go? Right here. These, what are they called? Titanium rainbow blades is what they are. They're like iridescently rainbow, kind of like the Tula clippers and cutters and all those things. Yeah, I have yet to use these, and I probably should try them. I haven't yet, but I probably should put one in because I have some. And again, they're just a random brand, and most of the stuff works in the rotary cutter. So that answer is dependent on what you can afford. You buy this for, what was it, $23, I think? Something like that. You get this for $23, but it's the same price to buy a 10-pack of blades. Unless you go on to a cheaper website and you can get a 10-pack of blades for like $13. And they still work. And I use mine till, well, I don't know how many times I tell you guys all the time. I need to change my blade, and I never do, and they still work. So I did change it recently. When I told you I did, that was probably like more than a month ago because I had surgery a month ago and I haven't been sewing much.
Those blades from the fabric cut?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they're fabric. Those blades are from the fabric cut. Yes. I did not order them. They showed up in the mail. So I figured I would use them. But normally I use whatever.
Titanium blades?
I don't know. I've never used a titanium blade. So that will be a new thing for me when I finally, put one in.
Have you tried Genome purple needles?
Genome purple needles? I've never tried. Never even heard of it. I use titanium needles in my sewing machine, and my needles are titanium that I use. There's a word. Can't get the word out. I will tell you in a second. Let me press this because I have to pull it out to see the name. Organ needles. I use titanium organ needles. And, well, let's just say they last forever because I change it maybe once every 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking with you guys. Everyone says your machine runs better or this happens better or that's better when you change your needle. I have never, I have been heavily sewing, mind you, for years now, and I have never noticed a difference versus the dull needle and the not dull needle ever. Other than when it really, really gets dull, it won't pierce. And when it does pierce, it kind of rips the fabric a little. But that doesn't happen for like a year if I, don't pay attention and say, oh, I changed it 6 months ago, but I really didn't,
The long arm ones you change.
The long arm needles, though, on the other hand, I do change those all the time. I change them with every client quilt. And then after a client quilt, I will load my quilt and I will quilt like 4 of my quilts with that same needle until another long arm job comes in. Then it gets a fresh needle, or unless I notice a difference. Because on the long arm, that's the needle you notice the difference on. This needle, I don't notice a difference. It takes a long time. So don't let anybody bully you into making you change the needle every time you make a quilt, because you don't have to. So if you are a beginner, I mean, maybe it's good habits to do that, but I'm cheap. I don't know much longer my 100 pack is going to last. I've had it for years now. Years. It's not going to last much longer. Probably like 3 more years worth of needles. Oh, I broke thread for some random reason because I'm talking. What is it stuck on? Yeah, I know some people will probably get mad at me for saying that, but honestly, just like rotary blades, use them until you can feel they don't work anymore. Once you start having, now this is way off whatever, but you're rotary cutting and you have a single skipped stitch. Skipped, cut. You also have to think your mat also causes those skipped cuts because you have gouges from cutting that same position over and over and over. Think about it. So it's not always the blade, but it's not always your mat. So when you can tell the difference, it's like with a fresh blade, it's like butter. With a 6-month-old blade, it's not like butter anymore, but it's like a butter knife cutting a steak. Does that make sense? So you don't have to do it that often. So I hope that helps those of you who think, oh my goodness, this is such an expensive hobby. I hope I don't have to do this that often. You don't, in reality. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but I've done this a long time now, and I don't do anything right, as you know.
Does your machine make a thumping sound when it needs to be changed?
Does it make a thumping sound? Not these titanium ones. The ones that I used before, which I use in the other machine, they're these like China brand needles. They literally Chinese writing, kanji writing. I don't even know if they're even Chinese, but these ones do make a thumping sound when they're getting old. It sounds like it's piercing the fabric. You can hear it piercing. The needle is still good if you don't hear that. Here's an example. My embroidery machines take a lot of stitches. A lot. Because you have an embroidery machine. I hate to admit this out loud. I've had that embroidery machine for how long? We've had it, 5 years now?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while. It's probably more than 5.
I've only changed the needle once in the, I think, 5 years that I've had it. Only once. Only changed it once. And guess what? It's still going because it's a titanium needle and it doesn't make no pokey sounds. It doesn't have skipped stitches. It doesn't have anything wrong. It still works. And an embroidery machine stitches more stitches than my Juki here. So, yeah. So don't get mad at me. It's my own personal, I'm just lazy about it, and I don't feel the need until you actually feel the need. You can hear it, feel it, see it. If you're starting to tear your fabric, you know it's time to change it. Or if it breaks, then obviously you get a fresh brand new one. And some company out there will be yelling at me in the comments later, but you know what? I know because I sew a lot. Like a whole heck of a lot.
What's your favorite cutting mat material?
My favorite cutting mat material? What do you mean, cutting mat material? I use a Fiskars cutting mat.
Yeah.
When I first started, I spent a whole heck of a lot of unnecessary money on an Olfa cutting mat. I spent a whole heck of a lot of money on an Olfa mat. Back when I first started, they were like $125 for this size. And it only had the lines on one side, and the other side was just the solid green color. Why did I spend the money on that? This mat, I get 6 months on one side and 6 months on the other, and then I buy a new one for $25. It's a Fiskars. And you know what? I've never had a problem with these. I buy a lot of them, but
Plus you get a free one.
But I get a free one if it gets damaged. I get a free one. So,
Yeah, they replace it.
They replace it for free if it gets damaged. Like the previous one that I just had, it would never, since they sent it to me in the mail, it had a big bump on both sides, and you guys saw the tape in the corner on the desk in some of my videos. The tape that was holding it down wasn't holding it down good enough, but that was because it came to me with a bow in it. So when you show a picture to the company on their page, with the thing to get a new one to claim your warranty, you get a new one, you show the picture of the damage, and yeah, they're supposedly guaranteed for life. I mean, we're quilters, obviously, nothing is guaranteed for life, but yeah, I choose to get the Fiskars now. I also, other than Olfa, I've had another no-name brand one. What was that?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's the first one that you used under your your thingy, I think. It was an off-brand one, and I didn't like it. I also don't like these right here. I love this, obviously, because it's quick and on the go, but the material, the plastic that these June Taylor uses for the cutting mat side is rough. Like, it's a rough feeling. It's not smooth. And I feel like it, when you're cutting on it, that because it's rough, it's skipping the cutting and it makes you feel like you need a new blade, but you really don't. It's just because this has a rough feeling. So I don't like those. I mean, I use them obviously, but, and I will be taking one with me on the cruise because I'm going to need one. I have a bunch of them, but I'm going to need it.
Where do you square up your quilts?
Where do I square up my quilts? On my nice, big, huge desk. And for those that are curious, I've been asked before, and I always answer, my desk is 36 inches wide. Well, I guess 72 inches wide, 36 inches deep, and I think it's like 28 or 30 tall. It's short for me because I'm smaller. And the best kind of desk, another tip for you beginners out there when you're looking for a desk for your sewing, the best kind of desk is where the drawers, you know, all desks have drawers on both sides, one side. The best kind is the drawers on the left. That way your sewing machine is on the right. There's no drawers, nothing blocking me. I can use my knee lift with ease. Nothing is in the way. The drawers are on the left side. So that gives me the whole entire left side of the desk for that quilt top that's heavy that we're making and we're huddling it through and so on and so forth. It gives it somewhere for it to sit. So I don't have to add an ironing board or all those extra things. I have a giant table next to me. So that helps. So if you're out looking for a desk, find one that the drawers are on the left side. If you need drawers, find it on the left, not on the right, because our sewing machines are right to left. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You know? Because of the way we sew. Ooh. So yeah, there's a big tip for those wanting to buy a desk. And all the opinions I express in my videos are all my own. Don't get mad. I can't tell you how many times over the years that's happened. I've just learned a lot over the years. And if you're curious, I've been doing this since the end of 2015. Because I still had a motorcycle. And I would come on late at night, if you guys remember, in my garage, and my motorcycle was right there in the background, and I had a design wall, and my motorcycle was like part of the theme. I haven't had a motorcycle in years. Wow, I'm really getting a workout in today.
We were hurting already.
Yeah, I was hurting already before I even started. But that's okay. I'm making it work. I'm going at a nice slow pace. This is not my normal speed of things.
What do you think of the sewing machine sunken down flush with the table?
Sewing machine sunken down flush with the table. Well, I could tell you this. Well, when I first finally got a desk,
Yeah, you used to have one.
I used to have we got this nice fancy office desk. It had drawers on both sides, and it was annoying because I was in a wheelchair. mind you, at the time. I only had a certain amount of space to fit in. This is why you want drawers only on one side. I only had a certain amount of space, and my wheel print of the wheelchair took up a lot of space. So, and plus, I was in the wheelchair. I felt like I sat lower than I could in any other chair. So, we put my machine in my desk. So, Scott and Justin cut out this nice giant hole. They measured my machine and cut out this hole and then screwed in the thing so that way it can sit in the middle drawer because it had a middle drawer and it could sit in the middle drawer, but they screwed something in to make it not fall through. And then my machine went into it, and then the extension table's size, but I found that I was always losing things between the gap of the desk and the extension table on the machine, like always losing things. So I like it, but I don't. I would say it's probably better for shorter people, for one, and maybe for those that can have an automatic desk, like that goes up and down. I know some of those Aero desks, they're really expensive ones, go up and down, but have the set-in machine, you know, and it can adjust automatically too, and the thing goes zzz, comes up by pressing a button and then goes back down into the cabinet kind of thing. So I would say that's usually, you need to go to a quilt shop that sells the furniture and sit at one of those kind of desks where the machine sits in. They usually have the machines in it as an example, and see how you like it. Because as soon as I wasn't in my wheelchair no more and I finally got my Juki, I hated that desk. I hated it, hated it, hated it. So I did everything I could to get a different desk. Next piece up while I'm down there. The last one I'm going to pick up off the floor and just place it on the desk.
You need me to do that?
No, I'll get it. I think I'm going to sleep good tonight. My legs are going to be sore tomorrow, probably. It's better than my back being more sore than it already is. I'm still not able to fully sleep on my sides yet. And I'm a side sleeper or a stomach sleeper, but I couldn't do that for a long time. And now that I can, I can't, if that makes any sense. Like, he hasn't cleared me to sleep on my stomach. He said I could try my sides, but it still hurts really bad. What's he meowing for? Did we leave him in the dust? He wants attention. It has to go on facing that direction. No matter which way I turn, it's like my hair is long enough to stay behind my head, but it doesn't. I do have fans, though. I have a fan here facing me. You can't see it, but it's on the desk off camera, and then have one on the floor that faces me now. It is solving my overheating problem. It's a miracle. Who knew I only needed 2 fans plus the one that's on the ceiling? I had them on my wish list and somebody bought them for me. And probably the best decision I ever, made was to put that on my things I needed, because I really did need it. All right, so this is the last set of row to put together. Then the last row is one single skinny row. And then we'll hook all the rows together. I'm going to leave this row over here, and then we'll attach the bottom to it. We'll make the bottom and attach the bottom to this. Wait for a second. Oh, I got myself with the iron yesterday, reaching again.
What? Why
Yeah.
don't you let me iron for you?
Yesterday, I burnt myself on the iron reaching. I was reaching past it, and just I did. This is like the 100th millionth time that I've done this. I have little white lines filling my
They
arm.
Can't see. Come over here if you want them to see it. I can't see. How are you supposed to let me iron for you?
So you gotta be careful when you're reaching over where your iron goes, because
Goodness gracious.
is yesterday's reach. Like, seriously, I'm going to be covered in these white lines all over me from the iron. Like, all right.
Be careful, my love.
Yeah, I know. I got to be careful.
Do you want me to get down there and get all that?
Nope, I got it. I need the squat. I need the exercise. Ugh. Yeah, don't do that no more today. More of my hair. These pieces are going to be covered in it, though, because they were on the floor. I have one of those roll-around things, and Scott vacuums hair like really good, but even on the floor, my hair gets on the floor easier than it does on pieces on the wall.
Service stripes.
What? Service stripes? Oh.
Marks, yeah, service stripes, you know? Military rank service stripes.
Yep. By the time I'm your guys' age, well, some of you aren't that your guys' by the time I'm older, I will probably literally have two arms filled with white lines.
Yep.
And no matter how many times I tell myself, do not reach around, I set the iron down in the corner. This is what's happening here. I set it down in the corner so that I can adjust the quilt that I'm making on the ironing board, because there's no other tray for the iron to go on. And instead I reach around it. That's my fault. And I do it when the iron's on the other side too. I don't know why my brain doesn't like say, hey, Tiffany, hot iron, you know, like. Instead, I feel it later on in the evening. Oh, shoot, I got myself again. And it happened while I was not in this room, but in the fabric room, because I was cutting out the pieces to make log cabins. I've been on this cutout log cabin kick where I'm cutting out all the pieces to my log cabins. So that way, anytime I want to make a log cabin, it's already cut. It's already cut. So I added to, if you didn't know, I added to my, those bins. There's more in the other room now, but I added to my pre-cut stash. So now I can grab to make log cabins from 2.5-inch strips and from 1.5-inch strips. Yep. I didn't know what else. So, I always have like 1.5 inches left, and I'm like, I have way too many 1.5-inch squares and 1-inch squares. Why don't I cut a size that makes something other than tiny quilts? So I started cutting 1.5 by 1.5, 1.5 by 2.5, 1.5 by 3.5, 1.5 by 4.5, 1.5 by 5, 1.5 by 6.5, 1.5 by 7.5, 1.5, 8.5, 1.5, 9.5, and 1.5, 10.5. So I can make a log cabin. Yep, that one was a big one, huh? So I do the 2.5 by 2.5, 2.5 by 4.5, 2.5 by 6.5, 2.5 by 8.5, 2.5 by 10.5, 2.5 by 12.5. That's for the 2.5-inch strip log cabin blocks to make 12.5-inch blocks. And then what I said in 1.5-inch, I cut out so that I can make 10.5-inch blocks. It's smart, all these years of cutting my scraps down. I think it's smart to start cutting all these different sizes. That way I can just make any quilt I want at any time, even if I'm off camera. Be like, hey, you know what? It's about time I make a blah, blah, blah quilt. And I have all the parts and pieces ready. Why in the world can I not find that seam? It's right there. It was pressed the wrong direction. My bad. I was trying to press these all opposite, but apparently I'm not doing so well. I have to remember that this white square goes in the bottom corner. Now I got to press it. See, the smart thing would do is put iron here behind me so that I do not burn myself.
Do you need me to help you in any way here?
Nope, no help. I'm going to start sitting down now. So I'm going to pull my chair back over and sit down to put these rows together. And then I can move on to my wonderful border idea. Oh, come on, Tiffany. I don't want to iron wrinkles. All right. That's my bottom corner. So I'm going to put this here. Bring my chair back where it goes so that I can sit on my booty. Grab the one that goes above it. Place it above it. Put it on my lap and so. And for those that are new to my channel and didn't know, I don't pin. There's no need. I just sew. I think I do pretty good for not pinning. I do have a video on a 2-color quilt and how to nest your seams with and without pins. Remember that that white square is my bottom corner when I add my next piece. All right, press this, put another one on. This part gets easier now. Once you start putting the rows together into a usable quilt top. I don't know what the badge is. Oh, I don't know. Somebody to change their name, maybe. All right, white bottom corner. Put this down now. Grab another row. Lay it on top. I went silent again. New conversation. Come on, somebody. Got a question that you think I might know the answer to?
That you think I might know the answer?
I mean, if you think I know the answer, I might have the answer. Just saying. I have lots of answers. Maybe it might be the one you want. It could be the one you don't want. At least I have an answer to it.
Oh, it's Eric.
Is it Eric?
Yeah,
Why
he
did
had
he
to
change
his name on his Google?
Ah, interesting.
You press your seams open or to one side? Do you windmill intersection?
I press my seams whatever the way the seam wants to go. Usually to one side. Sometimes it half the side, but that's only because it flipped at the machine. So I don't really ever press the seam open. The only time that I always press the seam open is when I make backing fabric. When I make backing fabric, I always sew it along the selvage. Then I cut the selvage away and leave myself with about a half an inch of a seam-ish. And then I press that seam open. I never, ever, 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 and I don't recommend it, use the selvage in the back of the quilt. Take it out, cut it away. You don't need it because it's a different weave. And when you're long arm quilting or even sit down quilting, that different weave is going to mess you up when you hit it every single time. You're going to notice your needle is going to try to force its way through it because it's different than the actual fabric. So make sure you cut it away. But that's the only time I press seams open. Unless I absolutely have to or if a pattern calls for it. Other than that, I press to one side, usually the darker side. In this case, I'm pressing opposite. So this seam right here is pressed towards the big block. This seam right here is pressed towards the big block. So that way, this seam right here is pressed towards this little block, and this seam right here is pressed towards the little block. So that way, I have a point to every single one of my stars, and I don't lose them, and everything nests right up. So there's no right or wrong way to press. That you find your own niche, I guess. Pressing open does take a lot longer to do, and you have more chances of burning your fingers, as opposed to just press one way or the other. Although if you're me, you just burn yourself no matter what you do. So, I mean.
How do you hold your fabric and it doesn't shift?
How do I hold my fabric and it doesn't shift? You can learn that in my 2-color quilt video where I teach you to get your accurate 1/4-inch seam, where you do not see your fabrics lay exactly on top of each other. You do not see. So I lay these exactly onto each other. So you don't see, like you can't see the, whatever, that's white. You can't see that white fabric behind you. And when you turn it this way, you cannot see the yellow fabric on this side of it. They are, and I can do that without pins. I just line it up as I go. I try my best to line up at least like, this many inches first. That way everything along the way lines up. But you can see I still line up as I go. And most times it's because if this top piece that I just sewed on was kind of going in and this bottom piece was going that way, I would just line it up, keep that needle down, and then give a tug to the bottom to pull it equal with the top. That way, it's one straight line and you don't see the color from the other side on the top, and you don't see the top on the other side. It's a 100% perfect 1/4-inch seam. Well, perfect in my book. I'm really good at that. Really, really good at it, lining it up. But then I have been doing this, and I could probably do this in my sleep. Or blindfolded. Oh, I should do that. Make a video. Make a quilt blindfolded.
You could do that.
I could.
Any trick to sewing satin or silk?
I don't know about satin or silk, so I don't have any tips for sewing satin or silk, besides making sure you have the correct needle, because I tried to sew a silk wedding dress and did not have the correct needle. And let's just say I made a disaster of things until I had the correct needle. I had to go get needles that were for silk. So just make sure you have the correct needle and needle size and the correct thread. I mean, I think silk uses rayon. You can use rayon thread on silk, and you can also use silk thread on silk, and you can also use something else. I don't know all the exact, because I don't make much clothes, and I've never made a silk quilt, but I have seen silk quilts made in videos. That's why you always see me adjusting, by the way. When it comes back to that seam talk, I'm constantly adjusting. That way everything lands so perfectly. And I always stop with my needle down. pretty sure most machines have that function. Computerized machines have the needle down function. So set it to stop it down. Purposely gonna have a pucker right there on what I just did. Wasn't the right size. I must have miscut or something. This one, the next two are lining up perfectly, so whatever that's about. Oh, I think the part of that question was spinning seams. I never spin seams either. Windmilling them, spin them. Eric, my friend from Treasure Heart Creations, if you've seen him, he's been here on my videos before in house, and
yeah, he's on live.
He spins seams on like 4 patches and stuff. I don't do that. I also don't pay attention when talking sometimes, and so the wrong thing. All right, one more set of row to put on this thing, and then we can make the border, which shouldn't take long. It's going to be made just like any other border, except it's going to have a couple star legs added to it. Oh, my pucker's not much of a pucker. I thought that was going to be a big pucker. I was like, oh, how did that happen? That's an iron outable moment. Just irons out. When it comes to sewing, all these questions are great, but just know most of my answers are the easiest way to do something. I don't pin. Why? Because it takes too long. It's easier to just avoid it. You know, I don't do this because it takes too long, because it's easier to just avoid it. You know, like all these answers I give you, if you haven't noticed, or especially if you're a beginner, it's easier to just avoid something. You know, like spinning the seams. Eric takes the time to do it. However, I ain't got time for that. You know, it's what you want to do with your quilting. People press their seams open. I don't do it because it takes too long. I'd rather be sewing, you know? So just know, you might think you know the answer if you find the easiest answer around it, and that's going to be my answer. I know I'm weird. I'm a weird one. Yep, I'm Tiff. I'm strange, but I know that. You know, it's 110 out today. Well, it was. I don't know if it still is.
That beats 115, which it was the other day.
Which beats 115, which was the other day for sure. It was so ugly too that day. Like, you went outside and there really was no wind blowing. It was the dew point was too high or something, so it caused the dirt that's on the ground to literally start rising, you know, to pull the whatever moisture out of it, and you couldn't even see the mountains. Like from my house, I have complete mountain range views all the way around except for the gap where the lake is. I have the lake view and then the beyond mountain of the lake, you know. But you couldn't see any of that. Not the lake, not nothing the other day. Very, very, if you're not used to it in Arizona, Worst time to be in Arizona is when the dust does that and it rises, because that's the worst time to get valley fever, because the fungus spores rise up and then the wind catches it the next day and blows it through the air. And if you know, I know from experience that valley fever ain't nothing to mess with. That almost killed me. And those are the things they don't talk about on the news, you know. They don't tell you.
You tell them Valley Fever put your neighbor in a coma for almost a year.
Yeah, Valley fever put my neighbor into a coma for almost a year. I mean, seriously, it's nothing to mess with. I just ended up looking like Skeletor and couldn't breathe 99% of the time. And it wasn't like my no breathing was not anything. Like my dad had COPD and he was just like and then would be fine until his next cigarette. Then he was like no. My no able to breathe during valley fever was like this. You know, like you're gasping for air constant. It was like a nonstop. And those of you that watched my channel during that time, you know, you saw it. There was times I couldn't even make a quilt because I was just too whatever. And then I lost all that weight and I looked like Skeletor and I couldn't breathe. It was horrible. My hair fell out. I had to shave, cut all my hair off. That was not fun. Because my hair was long before that happened. And then I wore it short for a few years and decided to grow it again. But yeah, valley fever is no joke. You can get it in some western parts of Texas, some parts of New Mexico, Arizona, some parts, and Southern California, and some southern parts of Nevada. All right. Want to help me put this up on the wall? And I'm going to get started real quick on these.
What's the smallest binding you recommend to do on quilts?
I don't go any smaller than 2 1/4 inch on quilts. What's the smallest binding? Yeah, 2 1/4. Right there. Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it there. I'm gonna pull it back down again. Yeah, I don't recommend. It's really hard, especially if you have arthritis, to wrap around 2 1/4. So, all right, my border is going to be 3 inches. And I'm going to cut 2 7/8, 2 7/8 inch squares from 2 different black fabrics because that's all I had left. I decided to do this after I made that small little quilt, or else I could have used those pieces. So these squares need to be 2 7/8, and I didn't even pay attention to what I was doing here. I could have just left it, but I didn't. 2 7/8. 3 times. And one more time. Right? I'm going to count one more time too. Just so that I can be 100% sure that I'm doing what I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. I need 6 legs. I'm going to cut 3 inch strips here off of my 1 yard of fabric. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 3 inch strips. How do I get these numbers? Well, I just guess. I usually, like, fabric is 40. I say 42. That's my 100% go-to number. You know, you get about 20 inches after the selvage is cut off. So I always say fabric is about 42 inches. So you say 42 plus 42. If this quilt is 84 or anywhere close to 84, you want 2 for each side, 2 strips. And then depending on your width of your strip, the top of this one is kind of skit. It's not as wide, so it's not even 72 inches. So I need 1.5 strips, and then I add an extra just in case my 1.5 is not right. So that gives me 8 strips. Technically 7, but I'm cutting 8 because I gotta cut these pieces. So I need that extra strip. that's going to go with those. Here we go. Let's cut out all my strips. Oops, that was weird. I took the rotary cutter off the fabric prematurely and it didn't go all the way through. How weird. I also have a nice crooked piece because my fabric is changing shape along the way. I hate when that happens. I try to keep the lines on the ruler equal on top and bottom when folded in half, but sometimes it gets off. Why is it? I don't know why. It's getting itself off and my cuts are straight. Some fabric just doesn't want to be cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, and this little bit goes over here. We're going to cut 5 1/4 inch squares and 1, 2, 3 5 1/4 inch squares. I mean rectangles. There's my numbers right there. 5 1/4 by 3 inch. Oh, nope, that's 1, 2. Oops, I need one more. I need a third. 5 1/4 over there. Whoa! Don't fall, Tiffany. Here we go. I am going to now snowball the corners with these pieces. All right, snippity snip. Cut off my excess. Throw those down under there. Press them real quick. Now put the opposite side on. Just making flying geese, but two different size flying geese because I want it to be equal
I can iron
with the
those ones,
edges.
can't I?
The points, I mean.
Missy?
I got it. It's just 3 little pieces.
You don't have to iron everything.
And one more. Cut away excess. Oh, this is going to be so cool. Finishing off those parts. All right. It's crooked on the wall. Sorry, guys. So this one's going to go here. That one's going to go up there. And where's the third one? Oh, I left it on the ironing board. All right. I'm going to get the measurement for that side first, I guess. Smooth it out as best as I can. And measure. I need a piece that is 29 1/2 inches. 29 1/2. Pretty sure that's what I just saw. You never know, though. I'm going crazy these days. Seems about right.
I can help you measure.
That's fine. Line this up 29 1/2. Hook that to this. Yeah, that way. Press it towards that. And then, due to the fact that I don't want to measure, I'm just going to take a whole strip and put it on the bottom. And then I'll cut it to size. And I'm going to do the same with the other side. I'll measure wherever it is. Oh no, those are the top and bottom only, so the other side doesn't even need that. I'm going to put 2 strips together for that. So I'll go ahead and cut the selvage off of 2 more. I did not pre-press this fabric either, so it's a little on the not pressed side. Kind of wonky. These 2 together.
Do you measure with the ruler and cutting board, or when you start measuring with one thing, do you stay with that?
So, okay, the question was, do I measure, what was it?
With the ruler and the cutting board.
Do I measure with the ruler and the cutting board, or when I start measuring with one thing? Let's just say that. I measure with the cutting mat when the ruler no longer has that many inches. But the other 80% of the time, I actually measure with the ruler. I hope that helps.
You normally just do the ruler.
Yeah, I normally just do the ruler. But some measurements, there's no ruler for. All right, that's going to go on one side, and that's going to go on the other. And those are the top and bottom pieces. So this can go on this shoulder. Let's line this up right here. Take the whole thing down. Make sure that my blade is closed because I've been knocking that lately. Okay. Make sure that this seam is nested nicely. I know this is a skinny border, but which way? I pressed everything towards that. I guess I'll press that towards it. And this should be exact, but I did measure from the wall. So if it's not my fault. It's because I measured from the wall. I'm holding the seam momentarily while running this up and seeing that it's a 1/2 inch too big. Make sure one more time again. Yep, 1/2 inch too big. That's what I get for measuring on the wall. I guess I could just hook a piece to each end and then just line it up where it goes. But that one is, the one that's going to be across the top is all the way to one side. So technically that's just like a 1/2. And the rest will be on the opposite side. Is that long enough even? I didn't even know how big this quilt was supposed to be. 6276.
Oh, let's go to decals for the sewing machine. I forget to do that.
Decals for the sewing machine.
Yeah, do you remember the name of that place?
this fabric was not 42 inches. I cut out that extra, so snip this. I don't want the seam at the edge. I got them from Sewing Machines Plus. Urban Elements.
Urban Elements.
For
yeah.
Sewing Machines Plus sells Urban Elements.
Oh, Sewing Machines Plus sells it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There should have been a link in the thingy.
Oh, well, I don't remember that, but I do know Sewing Machines Plus one, so she can just type in Urban Elements.
No, you would type in sewing machine tattoos.
Oh, okay.
But that's for the ones that are on my other machine. All right, one side on, the other side I think is behind me. It fell. It's on my lap.
Yeah, exclamation tat. I knew we had it. I just didn't remember what it was.
Yep, Scott's putting in a link that should go exactly to it. I replaced all those links, didn't I?
I don't know. We'll see in a second. Well,
No, it doesn't work.
Sewing Machines Plus one works. Sewing Machine Tattoo?
Yeah, just put machine tattoos. Should come right up. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and press these two and then do the other ones.
Well, maybe Sewing Machines Plus doesn't sell it.
This is the perfect order.
That's it. The only one.
Really, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Then she's just gonna have to look on Urban Elements because that's where they come from. I don't have a link for them.
Well, Karen put in the name of the site, urbanalements.com.
Yeah, they should have, unless they discontinued making those, but because people are putting all sorts of different kinds of stickers on their machines these days.
That's why this link doesn't work. It's not a, they don't have them. Karen put in there.
All right. Other side, other side, other side. blade. Don't close blade because I gotta sew this onto it. I'm gonna see which direction which one goes. First, I'm gonna cut all the selvages off. Got a bunch of this one. It's all the way on this side. So let's see, is this piece that length? Oh yeah, plenty. So it's gonna go this direction. So I'm gonna sew that on there. This will go on the opposite side of that. Okay, now grab it and sew it. You know, another thing you can do if you're trying to like make something up to make sure that it comes out the right length is you can always pin to that section, you know, if you want to do it the correct way, or you can literally take your machine and stitch that section down and then walk the fabric the opposite direction, you know? So like right here, I'm gonna stitch from there all the way down to the other end, and then I'll come back and hook the top. I mean, just so that we know for a fact it lands where it's supposed to. Really? Okay, this fabric is not
Cooperate?
no, it's not the right size. It's not 42 in length. Even after the selvage is cut off, it's probably like not even 40 inches because this quilt was only 76 in length and 62 in width.
Yeah.
And I already needed a second piece on here.
Any quilt you wouldn't tackle again?
Any quilt that I wouldn't tackle again? No, not really. I wouldn't mind, like I said, I really want to, but I haven't even quilted the first one. But I wouldn't mind doing a double wedding ring, but in purples, batik purples with black. Oh, 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 oh. That's like speaking my love language right there. You know?
She does like her purple.
Yep, I love my purple, especially mixed with the color black. Or the lack of color, or the most pigment of color. I don't know what you want to consider black. White would be the absence of color because there's no color there. So black would be the saturation of color? I don't know. All right, and the other side we'll get this one. Let's find out where that piece is. Where did it go? Where's the other side? And then I'll be done. All right, what end is that on now? It's on this side. I'm going to put a whole strip on that side and then cut it in half. We're going to take off that amount first and then put that on the other side. Why? Because I can. I'm going to say it's about right there. This is be guessing.
Be guessing?
Me guessing.
Oh, I thought you said be guessing. I was
no,
like, what
this
does
is
be
me guessing. Where did my little star block go? My legs. Gotta put my legs on. Okay. Short side will be on this side, like this. And then the long side is going to get 2 pieces because this fabric isn't the width of fabric of normal fabric. And 1 more piece. See, I was right. I needed 8 strips to do this. Oh, my goodness. All right, that goes on that side. Now this goes on this side. I'm going to go ahead and just sew right off this end first. Why? Because it's my hair. And I'm cutting everything to size. And then I'll press it and we'll have finished this quilt top in 4 hours because I started, 2 hours in last week. So this little pattern is a 4-hour quilt top. And that's even with talking and screwing around. And working slowly because I'm not really working at 100% speediness.
Yeah, this is your slow mode.
This is my slow mode. The iron is still on for me, right?
Yeah, that's even as we speak.
Thank you, my love. Where'd those 2 scissors go? Right there.
Those things are giant.
I dropped these the other day. I didn't
Really?
get them. Yeah, I didn't get them in the thing all the way where I keep them, and I am so lucky.
That thing will take a toe off.
My feet were on that side, not on this side.
Yeah.
Because these scissors, whew, these would have went right through my feet. Don't ever drop these really heavy LDH scissors, ever. Because I'm telling you right now, if someone broke in, this is probably the thing I'm going to grab. Woo! Yeah, those things are like no joke. And I can't even take them on my cruise with me. I got to find me a small pair of scissors for that. That's less than 4 inches. Because you can't have a thing more than 4 inches. So I might have to go with my Karen K. Buckley scissors. All right, I'm going to press this and then we can take its final look. The blue handled ones are probably less than 4 inches, right?
Has to be total.
Oh, total with hands?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Looking at the green ones.
No way.
Yeah.
Those aren't cutting anything.
Then why would you bring them there with it? They're going to have scissors there.
No, it's everybody bringing their own scissors.
Well,
And rotary cutters.
then
I'm going to have to figure it out. I'll ask one more time if it's 4 inches with blade
yes,
or...
it is 4 inches with handle. He specifically stated that on the last meeting with everyone.
I wonder if I have any half handles or something that have bigger blades. This was like the perfect border. This color looks amazing with this.
It does. That was a great choice.
Yeah.
See, that's us working together. Tell him we did that one together.
Yeah, we chose this together. He wanted a gray polka dot, and then I thought about it till we looked at it next to it, and then he's like, well, and we laid this one next to it, and he's like, oh, wow, that does look good. He didn't think it would at first.
Well, I said gray, then you said polka dot, and then next to the gray polka dot, you picked out a blue polka dot.
Yeah.
Well, a blue one with colored polka dots. And then I said, what about the darker blue one with colored polka dots?
Yep. Exactly what he said.
So, I mean, we made it work together. We pulled out 3 of them, we brought them in here, and yeah. We did it teamwork style.
Yeah. Teamwork. It's such a busy border, you can't see that I have a seam right there at the end.
That's great.
I hate when there's a seam right there, you
Oh,
know.
it looks great.
All right, let's put this on the
Ready
wall.
to hang it up?
Yep, it's done. I'm gonna hang it up and then we'll adjust the camera. You can unplug that now.
Put all your cords in the way over here. Everything. Right there?
Yep.
That good?
Yep.
Oh, that is cool.
So much better with the edge finished like that with the stars. Oh, you have yours crooked.
I mean, a crooked.
This is so crooked.
What does it matter? They can see it.
It does matter to me. We're gonna go as far as I can reach so that it will be straight.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
There we go.
It's not crooked now, huh?
Nope, not crooked now. That's straight. Still crooked, yes. It's straightly crooked. How about that? Go, and there we go. I'm gonna move my chair, and then I'll show the camera. So there's the top. It looks better with the finished. And then obviously you see the finished star on that side, right there. And then down at the bottom. I like it with the finished star. And since that border, let me take the camera over there. Since that border is the rainbow colors that it is, see? It goes with all the colors that are in the quilt. So it matched perfectly. It matched perfectly. I'm trying not to trip over my thing here. There's that bottom border.
If you have any questions, ask now.
If you have any questions, ask now or forever hold your peace. Until next week. Finished just in time for it to spool. It was spooling a second ago. It was spooling a second ago. Okay. There it is. Nope, not taking my machine on the cruise. There's machines there. Probably slow machines too. But whatever. All right.
You ready?
All right. Well, I don't see any questions. Thank you guys all for hanging out and watching me finish this up. Now it's another quilt to go in the closet and not get quilted until I feel like quilting it, which is probably not anytime soon. Anyways, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!